Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Max Action here, and this is episode 15 of Build Something With Me. And I want to take this particular episode to address a really important aspect of you becoming a better creator, a better coach, working through this 90-day goal that you've set for yourself in order to be able to achieve it and to really live it to the fullest. And the aspect that a lot of people miss is the why. And you've probably heard this before. You've got to have a strong enough why. And there's a lot of times that people look at this as it's something logical. Like if it just makes enough logical sense, then of course I'm going to do it. That's the big enough why. When really your why is something that's deeply emotional. And a lot of times it's not something that you just kind of come up with on the fly. Like, let me think about this. Why do I want to be a creator? So I can have a lot of money, right? If you wanted that, you would have already done it. But apparently a lot of money isn't enough reason to want to put in the action and the effort in order to create that. So your why is going to be something that's very personal to you, something that you can continually refine over the course of 90 days and well beyond that, because your why is going to ever evolve along with you. The more you get to know yourself, the more that why becomes more important. And so don't think that this is something that you can just rush through or even should rush through. This is something you should take your time with and really get to know yourself. Journaling is a great way to do this. Experience, just getting out there, experiencing life is a great way to do it. There's a whole ton of others. A lot of this, I'm going to give you what happened and how I really started to get on the path with my why. So this is really how I decided to go all in on this and start doing action coaching. Being able to get you as a creator, as a coach, as just a kick-ass person, getting you to take massive action in your life to get the things that you truly want, to do those things that you know would make your life better if you just took action on them, and yet getting rid of all those obstacles that are holding you back. So this is where my why started. So I used to do motivational speaking in the early 2000s, and I had an online business and everything was going great, except there's one big problem. I didn't know what I was doing at all. I was making $5,000 a month right off the bat with an ebook. I took 2 days to write. It took me about a day to write the ebook, another day to write the website for it. And immediately right out of the gate, I started making $5,000 a month, which was fantastic. But the problem is I didn't know what I was doing, so I kept spending the money as quickly as it was coming in. So this business I quickly drove into the ground because I made the best decision one could ever make. Whenever something is working, that's the first thing you should completely stop doing. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm being sarcastic here in case you didn't pick up on that. But that was the thing, is so often we start getting into doing something that starts getting us results, and then we stop doing what was working. Somebody starts exercising and eating better, and then they lose weight, and then they go right back to eating the way that they were. Somebody starts building an audience online, and they start getting followers, and people are interacting and engaging, and then they quit making videos. Like, why would you stop doing the thing that was working? And the biggest problem that I had with this is I thought that I was too smart. I thought my talent was going to be enough to be able to continually keep doing things over and over and over again. And now here's one of the worst things that could possibly happen to you is you put something up online, you put out a video, something like that, and you hit it out of the park on your first try. I really hope this never happens to you. I hope that you have to Try something and fail at it, learn, try something again, fail at it, learn something new, because that's the way you're going to build consistency. I got a home run right out of the park, at least for me anyway. $5,000 a month with literally a day and a half worth of work, unheard of. And yet the problem became that when I went to set up another one, it wasn't a home run. I thought, well, what's the deal with this? And then I tried a third time. And again, a third time, it fell flat on its face. And I thought, I don't understand what's wrong. I'm talented. I know how to do this. This was an absolute fixed mindset, thinking that I already knew everything I needed to know in order to be successful. So, as I was doing my motivational speaking and things like that, I started getting complacent, saying I should already be able to do anything I want to do without having to work at it, without having to practice. These videos right now, this is practice. I started getting the idea now. But this is the thing that you have to do, is if you want to be the best at something, you have to practice. And in order to want to practice to get better, you've got to have a why. So I quit doing motivational speaking because I started getting tired of it, because it started getting hard. I wasn't as into it as before, which is a common thing that happens with a fixed mindset, because you start losing interest in something the minute it starts getting difficult. It starts getting tough. Okay, now I'm tired of this. I'm bored. I don't like it anymore. I want to move on to something else. Which, if you've ever experienced jumping from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing, this is what you're experiencing. You're experiencing that fixed mindset, where the moment something gets difficult, you don't want to do it anymore. It's not as interesting. So when I quit doing the motivational speaking business, I ended up getting into title and escrow. And so I was doing that for about 5 years until something happened that would completely change my life forever. In 2019, this is December, I'm working in title and escrow. And I come into the office in the morning. It's about mid-December. So everything is moving as quick as possible because the Christmas holidays are coming up, the end of the year is coming up, and this is a big deal. Like, every single agent, all the lenders, they want to get these transactions closed as quickly as possible. And so I came into the office that day, and it was a regular day at the office. And then probably about 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, I hear somebody run out of one of the offices and say, "Somebody call 911." One of the escrow officers was down on the floor. She was unconscious, unresponsive. And so I'm looking around to see, does somebody run to help? But nobody did, which made me jump into action, because that let me know I was the only person in the office that knew CPR. So I ran out of the office as quickly as I could, and I got the AED. That's the defibrillator, the little mobile thing that you'll see where you can shock somebody if they need it. So I ran back into the office. I ran back in, and it was a little odd because this woman was the second in command of the entire office. So she was a very extremely important person. And I thought to myself, I've never done this before. Like, I know I've been through the class, but I've literally never done this before. So I was hesitated for literally a split second and said, okay, it's no time for modesty. She's going to die if I don't do something. And so I immediately pulled her blouse back so I could get the pads on her. And then I started doing CPR. And I'm waiting for the paramedics to arrive. And so immediately as the paramedics arrive, they move me out of the way and they continue doing CPR. And they moved me to another office where they've moved everyone else just so they don't have a giant crowd watching this whole thing unfold. And they lead, I can just barely see this through the crack of the door. They put her on a gurney and they lead her out of the office and put her in the ambulance and they take off. And it was the scariest thing I've ever experienced. And it was even more scary because this happened out of the blue. Nobody anticipated this happening. And so my office manager, each day when I would come into the office, I would ask her, "Hey, how's she doing?" And my office manager would tell me they're doing what they can for her, which was not the best thing that I could possibly hear. And this went on for several days until we got into the Christmas holidays. And then on December 24th, on New Year's Eve, I got a call from my office manager, and she said, "I wanted to let you know because you were one of the first responders there, so I think you have a right to know what's going on." And she said she passed away. And I was absolutely devastated. And this was a real eye-opening situation because she was not out of shape. She was not, had nothing that anybody at least knew about or visually you could think that was wrong with her in any stretch of the imagination. If you took a survey of every single person in the office visually and said, who do you think is most likely to suffer any sort of physical emergency, who would you pick? It would not have been her. She was also only several years older than I am, which added another layer onto it. And it made me realize something very important. And that is, we all have a very limited time on this earth. You might think that your life is going to be for another 40, 50, 60, 70 years. And it might be. And then again, it might be tomorrow. It might be an hour from now. We don't know. But the lesson here is huge. The lesson is, no matter what it is that you want to do with your life, I'm talking to you. Whatever it is you want to do with your life, you have right now to start and to do it and to experience this journey the entire way. Because if you hesitate, if you worry about, oh no, I'm not good enough. Oh no, my videos aren't going to do amazing right off the bat. Oh no, I might fail at this. If you let that fear stop you, if you let somebody else's opinion of what you want to do stop you, if you're living your life for somebody else, whether that's your parents, whether that's a friend or somebody else, if you're not living your life 100% the way that you want to live it, what are you doing? Because this is the opportunity that you have right now, today. You have the opportunity to live your life the way you want to, and every single day after that. So why don't people live their life for fulfillment rather than living a life of procrastination, saying, I'm going to do it later. I'm going to do that later. That'll be something that I'll do. I'm going to get around to it at some point. Don't be one of those people that your dreams die with you. Live your dreams. Live your life. Be able to do and be confident and do the things that you want to do and experience it all. Because one day is going to be that day that we can't experience it anymore. When it's the end and there's nothing that we can say or do about it. You have a chance right now. But this is where you discover why. Why do you really want to do this? My passion comes from being able to inspire people just like you to get out and go do something. For me to use the mind science that I've studied, to use the different techniques of hypnosis and NLP and inspiration and mindsets to get you in the mindset to be able to do what you want to do. To overcome all those fears that you have, to overcome all those obstacles that you think are in your way that aren't, for you to be able to not only be excited, but to live a life of adventure rather than a life of maintenance. To be able to live a life that you want to live rather than just a life that you're tolerating. Because you are important. If nobody's told you that, allow me to be the first. You are important. You have a lot of potential, but you're going to have to work in order to tap that potential. You're going to need a reason why that is so big, that is so enthralling, that is so emotionally uplifting and inspiring that you can't help but want to do it every single day. And every day you're doing it, even if you didn't win today, it's still another step on your journey. It's still another experience, something that you could learn from, something that makes you a better person. Because we're not worried about what the outcome is. We're worried about who we become in the process. These next 90 days, maybe you don't succeed. Maybe I don't succeed at what I set out to do. Maybe I fail in this entire venture over the next 90 days. But I'll tell you what, it's not about the outcome. It's about who you become in the process. Because I guarantee you, if you do something, you work at this for 90 days, you sit here, you watch these videos, you build something with me, I guarantee you it's going to be far better at the end of 90 days than it is right now. And that's a promise. Because you have it in you to do something amazing in this world. But it all comes down to you deciding what is your why. Why is this important to you? Not just it's important to me because other people will think I'm cool. No. Why is this important to you? Why are you here? Because when you decide why it is that you're here, what it is that gives you the most excitement and the most fulfillment in life, and you can live that every single day of your life, then you're one of the lucky ones. You're one of the people that got to experience life, that squeezed every single last drop of juice out of it while you're here. While there are plenty of other people that are going to meet that final day and completely regret every single moment that they didn't take action. People that are going to be lying on their deathbed. Maybe somebody told them, you've got 4 weeks left to live, and that's going to be that. And they get to spend those last 4 weeks thinking of all of the things that they could have done, realizing nothing could have been that bad. No outcome that they could experience, no failure, no embarrassment, no nothing could be as bad as that feeling of regret that they could have done something and they didn't. That they didn't take more risks. So I'm calling you out right now. What is your why? Why do you want to be successful doing this? Why is this important to you to do right now? Think about that today and tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. Because I want you to focus on your why every single day. Because your why is what's going to drive you. Your why is what's important. It's what gives you the motivation, the excitement, and the focus to keep moving forward no matter what happens. I want to tell you thank you for letting me share my story with you. I want you to go out there and live life to the fullest, because it's the only one that you're ever going to have. So find your why. Be bold. Be brave. Step outside your comfort zone and take action now.